Hello, my friends. It's I, Alphinius Goo, with little Bluey. Ha ha! From Rob and Melissa. Thank you, my friends. I love him. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Yes, magnificent. And he's not dissolving my hands, which is really good, Camera Mendy. Do you know this?
It is.
No one wants to have their hands dissolved.
Shocking that he's not dissolving your hands.
Ooh, look at little Bluey, so cute. I wonder what he's licking his lips for. There's a bone in there. Maybe that's what it is.
He looks like a little puppy.
He is a cute little puppy. little goopy. A little goopy.
Goopy, yes.
Yes. Well, show yourself, Camera Mendy. You're wearing your hat, all of that stuff.
Hello.
Yes, very nice, very nice. It is good to be with you on this first episode of the new year of 2024, yes?
And I'm going to read something to start off our show.
Oh, Camera Mendy, you have a little secret from me and Bluey.
It's not a secret. It was something that was posted in the Discord from Dennis.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Dennis, yes. I think we should call him Kabluey.
Kablooey.
Ah, yes.
I love it. Kablooey. Okay.
Yes, Camera Mendy.
All right. I'm going to read this.
All right, I'm going to sit back and listen to the read.
Okay.
And have a sip.
I might cry while I read it, so.
Oh, don't do that.
I'm going to do my best to get through it. Okay. Dennis, this really meant a lot to me. And I start crying. Okay.
Okay, there we go.
Okay. Good morning, Zyathé. I want to thank Alphinius Goo, Camera Mandy, and the rest of the Gooey Cube family for everything. I'm just going to start crying. I started watching the Goo Morning streams almost 2 years ago now. I was still grieving the loss of my wife and was trying to find something to put the spark back into my life. I discovered my love for D&D and then started watching a few D&D streams. I will admit, I was browsing the D&D streams and Good Morning Zyathé caught my eye. I'm not sure if it was the giveaways or just curiosity that attracted me, but it was the community that drew me in. The Gooey Cube crew always puts a smile on my face, even when I'm down. The shenanigators are always up to hijinks that make me laugh, and I hope to one day be able to add to the shenanigans that make that community so much fun. I look forward to meeting y'all at Genghis Khan next year. Here's to a good 2023 and a great year 2024.
Indeed.
So, anyway.
Dennis, 2023 was a little rough on us around here, as you know as well, and there is no overcoming loss, right? This is just the truth of us, my friends, right? This is all of us, when we're going through something hard, something terrible, something tragic, right? And you do not know this. You do not know this, but I have a dear and wonderful mother. My father was wonderful too, but I had a dear and wonderful mother. She was also kind of a kook.
Grandma Fern.
Grandma Fern, yes, Grandma Fern. So one of these days I will do portraits of them and have them in Zyathé. But Grandma Fern was very much a person who believed that how you thought influenced your life. And it had tremendous impacts on me, even when I was young, before my preteen years. And I must tell you that surrounding yourself, this is one of the precepts that she told me, surrounding yourself with people who lift you up when you're down, people who are positive even when your times are being negative, people who care truly to spend just a moment to give you a sparkle in your day are the people you should surround yourself with. And the point that I'm making with all of this, Camera Mendy, is that is this wonderful gooey community. And I don't know how it happened. I say this on Goo Morning Zyathé. You know I do this, right? But you do not know that I say this all the time around our office, right, Camera Mendy? I mean, come on, Camera Mendy.
Sorry, I'm in the middle of, I need a tissue real bad.
You need a tissue? Okay, I don't have one except for this used one. Should I throw you
No, please don't. Yeah, but please continue.
But listen, I want you also to know this, that I do not know how it happened. I don't know why. It is astounding to me, and part of it I do think is geekdom, right? There's just a lot of nice people in geekdom, a lot of caring people in geekdom, and I think part of that it just stems from probably some of the things we experienced as we were children and young people, because it's kind of hard sometimes to be a geek in this world, especially in places like high school and other sorts of circumstances. But Dennis, I cannot tell you, I completely agree with you. This community of people, all of you I'm talking to right now this morning, brighten our day, lift us up. There are days when we are down, I try my best always to put a smile on my face, even on the hard days. Because I do think, as Grandma Fern said, that how you think influences how you live and how you act. And so even when it's a hard day, I try to put a smile on my face. And as some of you know, most of you probably know, because most of you watch this stream know it, the last quarter of 2023 was incredibly difficult for us as well. And anyway, the point being, I love you all, I do. I mean, this is not some pandering statement. I have made so many wonderful friendships all over the world because of this Gooey thing. I am privileged to have met many, not just some, many creative and thoughtful and fun individuals. And that's you, my friends. That is you. And I can't imagine this last chapter of my life, right? Being in my 60s now. I can't imagine this last chapter of my life without you all. I can't imagine it. And Dennis, much love to you, much love to your family and your loved ones who have suffered this loss. I'm right there with you right now, but I also know that time does heal these wounds, and that over time, I miss my parents so much. You have no idea. I was close to them. We loved each other dearly, and there's not a day that typically doesn't go by that I don't have a fleeting thought for my mother or my father. But I will tell you that it will happen, that over time, it will just become wonderful memories and less pain. And that is a great thing. So, my friends, I did not know we were going to do this morning. Camera Mandy, it took me by surprise. But Dennis, I saw the post. I believe I commented on it, and we are here for you. Truly, y'all don't know this, but pretty much I would say once or twice a week I get a message from someone who's in a difficult situation, and I try to help them best as I can. And I know you do that as well. I've seen it in the den. I know Camera Mandy does it as well. So this is the wonderment of a great community. This is the wonderment of a group of people who truly has a heart for another person, right? Not just a heart for themselves. So, all right, Camera Mandy. Well, Dennis, we will continue onward, yes, to the next thing, and see if we can put a smile on your face for the rest of the day. No more crying, Camera Mandy.
Yeah, I didn't mean to. It's just that message just touched me in the feels. It is because yes. It's it's why we do this. It's why we game. It's why we have a great community, and yeah, I love it. Indeed.
By the way, Camera Mandy, again, don't I look clean right now? Even Ms. Goo remarked that I was like tight with my facial hair and my haircut.
I hope Ms. Goo makes you feel beautiful every day.
She's so sweet to me.
Yes.
I am truly blessed in that regard. That is amazing. Ms. Goo, to you.
Okay. I have a few other things planned.
Yes. I got things too, but we you know what we do. We do this thing how we do this.
Okay.
So what do you want to do first?
Okay, the first thing I want to do. Because you are the producer. I'm going to do Mandy's recommendation corner.
Okay, this is one of the new things we are beginning. There is a number of things coming to Goo Morning over the next month or so. And this is one of the new things that we're doing. So we want you to see this. This is pretty fun.
I have two things. Okay. So first off, this puzzle box, and there's other puzzle boxes like it. I got it for my friend Dory for Christmas. And basically what I did is I had like this little pencil box that had like a dragon's eye on it, and I hid a bunch of goodies in that, and then I locked it. It had like a little key, and then I ordered this really cool puzzle box here. This one's off of Amazon, but I'm sure you can get them at local game stores. Anyway, I ordered this little puzzle box, and it was like a twofold gift, because I first got to go do the puzzle myself, so that way This is
called a strategic gifting for yourself, Camera Mandy.
Yes. And so I was able to do the thing myself, and then I put the key inside of it, and then I reassembled it with Adam, and then we gave it to her, and then she got to do the puzzle box to get the key to unlock the present. Anyway, they go on sale, so don't buy it for...
Hold on a second, Camera Mandy. So truly, this was a re-gift. Friends, I just want to ask the chat, would this have been considered a gift?
It's not a re-gift.
Or a re-gift?
I bought it specifically for the purpose of giving it to her.
Yes, but then you used it ahead of time.
I didn't use it. I had to do the puzzle in order to put the key in.
Okay, the chat. I just want to check the chat on this. Let's just check Camera Mandy on the re-gifting.
It's not re-gifting. I bought the pencil box first,
Yes.
and then I had to figure out a cool way to get the key to her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyway, look. Here's the deal. If you have not seen these puzzle boxes,
They're
first off,
magnificent.
like I was saying, first off, they go on sale. So don't buy them for $50. You can get them for cheaper than that. You can get them like around $30 to $40. But I mean, they're so clever the way that these boxes work. It's all wood in there, and the puzzles are really fun and really interesting. I had a blast doing it. Adam did, and so did Dory. So
maybe we should do one as part of Goo Morning Zyathé. We'll do a few pieces every week.
I mean, it's a little. It would be boring to watch, I think, someone else try and figure it out.
Even if we knew the ad, even if we knew all the answers ahead of time.
I mean, yes, if we knew the answers ahead of time and then could do them, then yes. Anyway, so first off, that is my first recommendation is, like, if you ever see these little puzzle wooden boxes, like, imagine how much fun it would be for, like, a D&D puzzle or whatever to do this. Okay, then my next one is Wingspan. Okay.
Yes, you posted about this.
Yes, because I got.
And there's a lot of people who said it was great.
Yeah, well, we got it for Christmas. Everyone knows about this game. We've known about this game, but we got it for Christmas. I'm obsessed with this game now. I have the phone app. And then they're releasing a second version of it that's called Wormspan, which is going to be dragons related, and that just got announced like 2 days ago.
Wow.
But like this game is so relaxing. It takes a little bit of learning because there's a lot of moving parts to it, but like one playthrough and I was able to get it really, really quick. And then it's one of those games that you're focused on your board. You can look at your competitors' boards if you want to and get competitive that way. But for the most part, you're just focused on your board and your strategy, and you're not necessarily trying to screw anyone over, which I find incredibly relaxing because then I'm not worried that they're trying to screw me over.
Yes, of course.
Anyway, I love this. I think it's great. And yeah, so
okay, let's take a moment to look at the chat. I want to know what they thought about re-gifting.
Okay, I have to go back and reread everything because I've been talking. Okay, you talk for a second here.
Yes, I will. So Wingspan I have heard is wonderful, and I haven't played it yet. And I heard it before even you put it up there, Camera Mandy. So I think Wingspan is definitely worthwhile, and I love puzzles. So maybe I'll have to get one of those and take it home to Ms. Goo.
Everyone's saying they love Wingspan. So yeah, if you have not, it's an expensive game to get. I think it's like $50. It is pricey, but I mean, it is worth it, and the replayability of it is phenomenal, and it's really just relaxing.
Well, and honestly, when you think about it, if you spend
regift, totally regift.
Total regift. Of course, it's a total regift.
I see
White
it. Not
elephant.
A regift.
Yes, thank you, chat.
Yeah.
I appreciate it because
Andy
many
says
times
not a regift, a multi-use gift.
But okay, Andy, that's good. But listen, I want you to hear this real quick. Many times you all side with Camera Mandy just because she's so sweet. I know how that is. But sometimes you got to call it what it is.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, thank you. Chat, yes, we got to call it what it is. This is what we must do. Right, Bluey?
I don't think, there's a lot of people on my side, and there's a lot of people on your side, so...
All right, all of you on Camera Mandy's side.
Andy did say that $50 is a bargain for a really decent one, and I think that is.
That's the truth, because if you think about it, really, and a cost. So I always think about entertainment in terms of the cost per hour. That's what I typically do, right? And a movie, right, for 2 hours is what, $10, $12 now, something like that. Sometimes even as much as $15, and I've even seen movie tickets for $20 now, Camera Mandy. It's crazy. So when you think about that, that's 2 hours. That's even at $10 is $5 an hour, right? And so you think about a game like Wingspan, right? If it's playing, it's not a single play, right? It's play many multi time you can play it, right? Now all of a sudden the value on that for $50 is ridiculous. So you play it 3 or 4 times with your friends, you bust it out multiple times. That's why a deck of cards is such an incredible value if you like playing card games. It's just crazy. So, and we always try to keep our stuff in that $1 to $2 an hour range for the value, because I think that's a good price for materials of the quality and and the pizzazz that our stuff has. So, all right, Camera Mandy, what is your next thing? Or are those the two things?
Those were my two things.
Are we going to do a little social media? Or are we
Yes.
not going to do that? You want to do that?
Yes, let's do some social media.
There was some good stuff and some shenanigans already in the new year. Patrick, you in particular. But Harry was involved. There's a little geekiness.
Well, I'm going to start with this because this was actually an
Yes.
exciting announcement that I was very happy for. We're finally getting the Fae medals.
Yes.
We're finally getting the Fae medals.
And they are not the only one, because as part of the Kickstarter, we're also going to do the Fireborn, which I have not put out yet either.
Oh, okay.
So we will have those two new peoples. We also have another class, I think, that we will debut. We'll see. That's a discussion. But I think there's going to be a class in the campaign for Guys and Gags that I think people are going to really enjoy. Very interesting. Yes. We have all kinds of things coming, don't we, Camera Monday?
Oh my God, there's so much. There's so much.
Anyway, the Zyathés, so long ago, so as many of you know, we want to have a multitude of different kinds of people for our players to play. And interesting, right? That's why the Garund came about, because everybody who wanted to play a really big character had typically had to play like a half ogre or something like that. And so our concept with the Garund was to give another option in that regard. Same, honestly, with the Sarth. They are very big people still, averaging, nigh on 7 foot tall, right? Not nearly as big as the Garund, which average around 9, right? But averaging around 7 foot tall, but they are more thin of build, right? The Garund are very meaty and beefy. So we wanted to begin to bring these to the world of Zyathé. And I think we have brought, with the Maroon and the Soth people, right, and these others, I think we have brought some wonderful, interesting peoples to the world of Zyathé. But also really had gotten a lot of feedback, and a lot of people had asked, what about a little race? What about a group of people that were small? And so I began working with Igor, one of our artists, on a lot of concepts. And some of you who were around in those days, remember we were posting. You remember those, Camera Mandy? We were posting them in the den and showing people different things and asking their opinions on eyes and all of that stuff. And so the Zyathés were really aided by our community in the creation of them, which is magnificent, And so we are going to bring them forth. And I think you all are going to love them. I think they are magnificent and adorable and very interesting, and they are tiny. They are about the size of gnomes, maybe even just a little bit smaller. And I believe gnomes average around 3 foot in our world of Zyathé. So, and they are also blue. And no, they are not Smurfs. For all of you Smurfy people out there,
the gnomes, not the.
The Zyathés actually can be in a multitude of colors, which I love as well. They're kind of got a little rainbow thing going on, which I think is magnificent, right? And so that is the little bitty people we call the Zyathés, or also named by, who named it? Do you remember off the top of your head?
I don't remember.
I should remember this. I just talked about it the other day.
There was 2 of them, because someone named the Zyathés and then someone named the
No,
Fae
I was
medals.
the Zyathés. I think.
Oh, you did?
Yes,
No.
I'm pretty sure I was the Zyathés.
There was 2 winners of that contest.
Yes, because we only chose one name. I'm pretty sure I named the Zyathés.
Okay, well, I'll double check the facts.
But it might be wrong, because I'm old and forgetful, Camera Mandy, as we all know. Anyway, what do you think, chat? You love these guys? Everybody?
I think everyone loves them, and I'm not sure everyone would play one, but I certainly would.
Well, yeah, it depends on your bent. You know what I'm saying?
I want to, this is one thing I've said for a long time. I would love a full party of these.
A bunch of little Zyathés.
Yeah, that's just your whole party is, this. I think that just.
Well, and Harry also made some Zyathés.
I have them. He gave them to me. He gave me an entire set.
Really?
Yeah, he did. And I've been meaning to take a really cool picture with them. And I just have not had the time.
Harry.
So.
I see you sucking up to Camera Mandy. Anyway, no. Harry's minis, he makes wonderful minis for the world of Zyathé, as well as wonderful minis for other things as well.
Yeah, this is a good segue into Escargot, who has gotten so much, again, Escargot named by Dennis, who,
Dennis did name Escargot.
Yes.
Yes,
but yeah, so Escargot has been having quite a week.
Yes.
In Sorry.
The problem is,
I literally love it.
that even though there are no wizard snails in the world of Zyathé, escargot probably has to
Okay, so
a
here's
part of it.
I made a decision.
What do you mean you made it? Hold on a minute. You can make a decision. That doesn't mean it's going to be something.
It's gonna happen. I'm just gonna do it. So here's the decision. So for the Mornwood Kickstarter, we had little escargot stickers made,
Yes,
but it was
magnificent.
without the stave. But because people are having to wait a little bit for their physical materials for the Mornwood,
That's only because we're fixing them, making sure they're perfect,
We're
or
gonna
as perfect
send-
as they can be.
We're gonna send both a stave one and a non-stave one.
Oh, you're gonna
so you
get a
get two
staved
stickers
escargot.
for escargot.
Well, escargot, I've been pondering it, and I think we're going to have escargot in Guys and Gags.
No.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes. Well, Guys and Gags is a little bit of a departure for us. Now, I want you to understand. There was a couple questions people asked. Don't do this yet. Hold on.
No. Is this?
Stay with escargot.
I just want. Okay, go ahead.
A few
That is
people
escargot.
asked about. I know it is. I know. But let's just stay with the picture, right? So
Okay.
we don't distract.
Okay.
So I know a lot of people are a little worried because we're going to be lampoony with the Guys and Gags materials. There's going to be some funniness and some hearkening back to some of the old school humor, and there might even be some touching parts of it as well. I'm hoping that there will be some touching parts. But escargot kind of fits in that realm. We are still going to maintain some of our grim darkiness. I want you to know that. So we're going to transcend the idea of a little bit of humor and a little bit of grim dark and a little bit of all the Zyathé feel thing that we do. But we're definitely, I think, going to have escargot.
Yeah.
Now, I want everybody to be
Andy
clear.
says escargot is about to be a key NPC in my Mornwood / Blood for the Con game starting this week.
Magnificent. So, I do want
says-
everyone to understand. I
Yes.
do not think there's going to be a people of big ass snails that run around casting spells with staves. Okay, so I think there's going to be one. I think escargot is going to be a unique character in the world of Zyathé. Okay, so
So wait, you're telling me that the Moleskine Alanax
no, this is bullcrap.
is not happening?
No.
So-
I appreciate the shenanigans, Sir Harry, but no. We'll have escargot, but we are not going
And
to
so
have.
it was foretold. The cursed forest of grief would reveal a new hero. Perhaps not the hero we want, nor the hero we expect.
But the hero we need.
Okay, look, I love everything that's happening with this. I love. Here's
Escargot is going to have a movement penalty.
Patrick's
Yes, I know.
Dark and Haven
They're starting out
missive
strong in 2024.
about how
oh, look
to
at his
protect-
mic. Come in, Mike. Come in.
Hi,
Come in
Mikey.
and wave at everyone.
With my bedhead.
Yes, with your bedhead and your burliness.
Oh my goodness, what has happened
So
to
come
you?
here. Come here. Let's lean in and say hello. So
Oh, you have to
gotta
lean in.
get low.
You
Look
have-
at the camera right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yes. Mike is here. So Mike has been lighting up the Facebook and the Discord a little bit of late. Yes, I've appreciated your goofy posts. Yeah, they've been a lot of fun. So anyway, let's continue with Patrick's shenanigans. Yes.
Okay. I mean, literally, we were in a meeting yesterday, and I saw this, and I literally started cracking up in the middle of the meeting and completely derailed it.
Andy, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This group, and it is not just, I mean, obviously Patrick and Harry and Geeky and Michelle and some others, right, really go over the top a lot of times with things. Jen does some magnificent posts, right? But Kevin and Hans, right, and Jim, right, and they don't necessarily spend, as much time in the goofy creativity, right? But they bring so many things, and that's what I love about this Gooey Den. And I love the fact that people bring these wonderful things that are there. Thomas does. I mean, it's just it's amazing. Rob throws things up. Melissa throws things up. Christina throws things up. It's just wonderful. Anyway, this if you have not read this, you need to read this.
It's pretty priceless.
No, it's that and The Hero We Need.
Yes.
Right? You need to read both of those. So those Geeky, just so you know, all right. And who are our 5 Shenanigans winners?
Chet, Geeky, Patrick,
Patrick, Adam, and
Harry.
Okay? I just want to the other 3. 2 of them just got over the top on you here early in the new year. Yes, okay. So it just, and then Cameron Mandy had a really good idea. So we're doing this.
This is not really my idea. Okay, so we do this thing on social media. It's called Tip of the Week. And my brother Lawrence has come to start working with us, and I asked him to write some new tips of the week. And he sent me some serious tips, some funny tips, and then some things he was calling like additions or something like that. And I read them through and I'm like, these are great ideas. And they're not ideas you have to use. We're not saying it's just, if you read it and it tickles your like imagination or your little, funny bone or whatever. This one was develop a mischievous talking animal companion for the group, adding humor and unexpected aid in their journey. So definitely not anything that you have to do if it's the right flavor for your campaign. They're just ideas that we're going to start throwing out there every week. So,
yes.
And there was actually some good discussion in the, because I reposted it in the den.
Yes.
And I loved the discussion that was happening in there about whether it would work for certain tables or not work for certain tables. And so,
and it is. It's different tables, right? This
Yes.
is always the way it is. That's why there's really this idea that there's some right or wrong way to play this game, that there's some right or wrong way to GM this game, is kind of elitist. I kind of rail against that, cameraman. I don't like it because I think it can make people feel badly about the way they're playing and thinking, am I deficient in some way? And the fact of the matter is, here's the deal: if you all are sitting around having a great time, that is all that matters. Yeah. Yes. Can I get an amen from the chat? Ha ha! Yes, amen! Ha! Yes, very good. Yes. Anyway, we love these. Lawrence did a great job.
Yes.
But you came up with the idea of calling them sticky ideas.
Yes, I did. So,
yes.
And I designed this cute little card.
Yes,
yes.
Very cute.
Okay.
Very, very cute.
Anyway, you're going to see a lot more stuff on our social media. We are super ramping up.
Oh, yes, the new year, lots of things are changing. Things are going to change here. You'll see them beginning to come in. Probably a lot of, we're going to spend a lot of time talking about Guys and Gacks going forward in the next month or so within this Gooey Den, because we really want our community a part of that. I'm hoping to have the most submissions we've ever had for Guys and Gacks. I think we did some 200 for the Gloomport, right, cameraman?
Yeah, we had quite a bit.
Yeah, the Gloomport was our number one. I think we had some 200 submissions. I'm hoping to blow that number away and have lots and lots of submissions, especially from folks who remember the old days and can bring. You got to be careful, right? We don't want to step on anyone's copyright, but we're looking forward to that. We're excited for that. Yes, so. Yeah. All right. What else can we remember?
Oh my God, I have so much. Okay.
I know. There's so many. It was a wonderful week.
Really quickly, last week we forgot to do our giveaway.
Yeah, we didn't do it this week yet either because I didn't put it up in the den. So
no, I mean we forgot to do the one that we were supposed to do.
Oh, the one we were supposed to do. That's right.
The custom folios. So you said we'll give away 2 sets this week.
I did indeed.
So yes, 2 sets are going to go out.
So
today.
We're going to give out 2 sets, and so we're going to do it, right? We're going to actually.
Yeah, we'll do it
should
later.
Should we do one right now? One right now.
I'm not.
Later?
You're
not ready. The
give me just a
MooBot
minute.
is not set up.
Give me just a minute to set up MooBot. We'll talk about something else.
So these are pretty special. You're not going to be able to order Alphinius and Cameramendi, I don't think, in the near term. And we're signing these too, right, Cameramendi?
Yeah, we'll do a signing.
Yes, we're signing these. So these are pretty special. These, like I said all the time, they're not collectible. I mean, they're very collectible because the time you want to collect something is when it's not worth anything. Yeah, I'm astounded at some of the old things that I have in my collection that I look at prices on eBay and others, and I'm like, goodness gracious, how did that happen? Forget the stock market. Invest in old Dungeons and Dragons stuff.
Hashtag give.
Hashtag give. Ha-ha, yes. You can win 1 set right now. We're doing a set for each, right? 2 sets.
Yeah, 2 sets.
So you can win 1 set now. We'll do another one soon.
Hashtag give to win the set of Alphinius and Cameramendi.
And there's a few people, if they win, I'm going to start suspecting shenanigans myself, Cameramendi.
How's
we
that?
Need some new people to win around this. there's some replicating into winners that continue to replicate. They're like Gooey Cubes that split. Yes, something.
Okay, up next.
All right,
while we
next,
do that,
Cameramendi?
We are Todd. With his magnificent builds.
As I've said before, we have 3 or 4 magnificent terrain people, right? Todd being probably the preeminent because he posts the most, right? This was just spectacular. And of course, it brought me right to Game of Thrones, right, cameraman?
Yeah,
yes,
I know, it's
right?
such an epic climb.
Yes.
Oh, it's amazing.
I mean, truly, there was much about Game of Thrones, which of course was based on a Song of Fire and Ice, right? Which if you never read them, they're deep. I mean, this is a hard read, right? Not a hard read. That's not fair. This is a challenging read, like Tolkien is a challenging read, right? There's a lot of there's not as much, it's not always action, right? It's not like you're going to an action film and just getting action all the time. But the adaptation to the series was spectacular. And of course, Todd puts up this wonderful build where they're going to they're in the shadow of this Frost Peak mountain, and they have to go up the mountain. And what's cool, if you look at the one in the bottom right, if you actually looked at all of the images, the Frost Peak, the top of it, that's the top of it. Like, look at Todd up in the right-hand corner there. You can see he has the mountain below it, and then he has the Frost Peak thing on the top, which I thought was just brilliant and ingenious and wonderful. And we really love these terrain posts. And I'm thinking I'm going to be doing a few of my own this year, Cameraman, because I have some pictures that I want to show. I don't know if I can equal this magnificent Todd, but I'm going to give it my best, Cameraman. Yes, I am. Mm-hmm.
I have our first winner.
Oh, we have our first winner. And it is...
Peter Andrew Payson.
Andy, congratulations, my friend. Has Andy won before?
Yes.
Dang it.
A few times, but not recently.
It's been a while, huh, Andy? Well, we are happy. Listen, we love to reward our friends who watch this stream with us. I have a feeling our stream is going to grow very substantially in the future, and I'll be telling you why. But let us continue, Cameraman.
Okay, I'm going to just run through a couple things really quickly. Carrie posted this adorable Themberchod. How do you say that?
Themberchod.
Themberchod, yeah.
Or Themberchod, right? It depends
and
on
there's
what
her
you...
kitty having a good time.
Yeah, sniffing the butt.
Yeah, as you do.
Never sniff a Themberchod's butt.
Better than probably its mouth, where it...
No! Cameraman. I think of the fire. The fire just... because you don't want to sniff its mouth and then get the flame.
Okay, wait, I had a few questions I missed.
Oh, yes, do it.
Okay, Paul. Alphinius, how many new Underdoom bank packs did you order in yesterday's DF restock?
So I haven't yet, because I have a lot of Underdoom. But I am probably going to spend a little money here over the next couple of days. I'm not looking for sort of the shortage pieces anymore because I have all those, Paul. But I am looking to expand my Underdoom collection. So I don't really need sort of the really cool special pieces because I have most of those in multiples. But the sort of do I want to make a bigger Underdoom set? You know what I need in that kind of a situation. You know, the problem with Dwarven Forge, right, is how damn long it takes to get the next things, right? Because I'm just waiting for the last my stuff from the last Kickstarter. So I love those folks, and Stefan, of course, and Anne are some of the people, or two of the people who are starring in our magnificent Guys and Gags tale.
I'll go back to terrain while we talk about the terrain.
Yes. We don't want to stay with the cat sniffing the Thumbershot's butt.
Okay, and what I forgot from earlier.
Yes.
I just dropped my pen. The Hatmancer class.
We'll do that.
Is coming out with Gloomport.
No, the Hatmancer class is coming out with Guys and Gags.
No. The Hatmancer class is coming out with Gloomport. So that was decided way before Guys and Gags.
Okay. Well, the Hatmancer.
That was a question from David. Yes. So the Hatmancer.
Yes, we're doing that, but that is
because the Hatters are in the Gloomport.
That's fair.
The Hatters are in the Gloomport, so the Hatmancer is coming out with Gloomport.
And that can be our gift to all the people who pre-ordered and do that and all that stuff, which will be nice, because I want to do something nice, because we have taken so ridiculously long. Now, I will tell you that the value of it is going to be ludicrous, and the price point has gone up dramatically since the people who purchased it at the Kickstarter, and you don't get any stretch goals versus all the stretch goals that you got with the Kickstarter. So it was definitely still probably worth backing us, and my apologies to you all for the time that it has taken. But wait till you see Darkenhaven. And then just imagine the Gloomport being just as good. And you're going to be like, whoa. Because our goal, as I have said many times, is to make one of the best, most amazing, fantastical TTRPG cities that has ever been made. And I think we're doing that. And the damn box is almost as thick as Bluey. All right, Cameraman, what else?
I have some other questions, but we'll finish social media, and then we'll answer those questions.
Don't be forgetting people.
I won't forget. I have it in my head.
Look, Bluey's got his eye on you.
So, this was incredible. This was actually posted a few weeks ago.
Yes.
So, this is a resin table that has like lights inside of it.
Yes, that Jen's husband made.
I mean, it is the video of it. Now this got buried in the algorithm. I get very frustrated.
That's why you and I need to do this. And frankly, friends, I want to tell you something. If you think something is worthy of Goo Morning Zyathé, right? If it's something that other people should see, because the problem is this damn algorithm that Facebook puts out there, and that's why I scroll so much in the den, is because I miss things because of that damn algorithm.
It pushes it way down.
Yes, it ticks me off. So if you see something that you think is worthy of Goo Morning Zyathé, if you've got something out there, right, that you see, someone has posted, and you don't see Camera Mandy or me liking it, or some of the Goo crew speaking on it or something, will you tag us? Will you just say, hey, Alphinius, make sure you check this out, or hey, Camera Mandy, make sure you check this out, because there is so much good stuff in there, and sometimes, they get buried so deep that you get like one like, because nobody saw it, because damn Facebook decided for some damn reason that it wasn't worth for people seeing, when it was really spectacular, right?
Yes,
there, my rant for the day.
Yeah. Anyway, this is absolutely gorgeous, phenomenal work.
And incredibly creative, and just all of the things that embody the den and why I love the den. All of things, my day job, Camera Mandy, my day job is a creative director. You and I work together so closely, and people need to just understand how wonderful it is, right? You are who you hang around with, a Grandma Fernism. You are who you hang around with, and I love hanging around with creative people. And that doesn't mean they have to be just advertising people. It's people who can sew. It's people who can crochet. It's people who can make tables, right? It's people who can craft. It's people who can draw. It's people who can paint. It's people who can write. All of this stuff, and it comes together, and it enhances your creative, it sharpens your creative mind. And this is so magnificent, and this is why I love the den, and this is why I encourage you also, take a moment to like some of the folks that maybe are putting up stuff that don't get as many likes because of the damn algorithm. And just, if you do that, that will enhance their efforts and help contribute to the wonderful spirit of the den. Anyway, Jen, magnificent. Mwah. Yes.
Gorgeous work. Okay, I'm trying to think. I think the last one that I had 2 more.
All right, I want to know in the chat, how many people knew of Wormy long ago? I think Wormy appeared in the first issue of Dragon magazine. I think it was not the first. It was number 10, number 9, something like that. And just a wonderful, wonderful strip that was in the Dragon, and Chris posted it up and reminded me of it, because there is this magnificent collection now. All of the Wormies are collected in one place, and we put up the link because Chris put it up. But again, the damn algorithm, Mandy, pushed it down, right? It was gone. And I see this a lot with links, by the way, because because Facebook always wants to make money, right? It's all about money, right? Money, right? And so things that have links in them often get pushed down because Facebook thinks, oh, this is a chance for us to make money. We need them to advertise it, not just put it up, right? So when you're doing this thing in the den, just think about that, and you can help us to have people be able to see things. So what does the chat say about Wormy?
Lots of people have read Wormy. Lots of people love Wormy.
Incredible.
Kiwi Woo says the September 1977 issue of Dragon featured the first 6-panel comic of Wormy, and Rick says I had that one. So
yeah, that's something. Yeah. I'm going to tell you this.
I have no idea about Wormy.
Just look at the collection when you get a chance. Read some of them.
Okay.
Fun, just really fun and hilarious. But here's the thing. So when I was a young man, I was in college, and there was a wonderful store in San Francisco, which may still be there, called Game Master's Hobbies. And it was one of my 2 stores, Games of Berkeley and Game Master's Hobbies. Game Masters became one of my stores because I was going to San Francisco State University. And I went there one day, and I'd spent a lot of money there. I was working at a TV store and putting myself through college, and that's not fair. My parents helped a lot in terms of, they didn't charge me rent. I was able to live at home, but I had to come up with most of my own spending money and all of that stuff. And so, like all college students, I spent too much on beer and too much on food, and I was always a little tight on money. But the owner of the store there in San Francisco had issue 1 of the Dragon magazine in very, very good condition. And this would have been in 82 or 83, something like that. And at the time, he was asking $125 for it. It was really, really good condition. It wasn't mint, but it was near mint.
Did you buy it?
I didn't.
Do you have regrets?
Oh, I have regrets. Somebody in the chat, tell us what an issue 1 of Dragon magazine in near mint condition would sell for today.
Okay, sounds good.
And then you're gonna see you should have bought thousands.
You're not okay, here's the thing though, Kim, is you will literally never Kim.
Kim.
Uncle Kim.
Yeah. Kim.
Alphinius. You'll never sell it in your lifetime though. You love to hold.
I would never.
You're a hoarder.
I'm a hoarder. I admit it. It's completely the truth. I only of one thing. That's what's crazy. I only hoard one thing, right?
But it's one thing, but it's like many facets of one thing because it's like thousands of miniatures, Dwarven Forge, loads of. You should see his bookshelf downstairs.
I have some wonderful old tomes and old adventures, Cameramendi. I just love this game. You know, this is why Gooey Cube is such a passion and why I love it so much and all of the things. So anyway, I'm glad y'all know of Wormy. If you don't know of Wormy, it's worth getting to know Wormy.
Well, now I know of Wormy.
And you have a link to be able to explore Wormy now. Yes, magnificent.
Okay, so let's go ahead and transition into our discussion.
Yes.
I'm going to do that by showing another social media post. Although this is not part of our discussion. I just wanted to brag on Gooey Cube a little bit. So this is from Carolyn. So I'm in chapter 3 and all of my players already have a main secret, but I started adding on more. There's a couple that say I should give these new secrets to players who don't have a secret, but honestly, it's been so much fun giving people 2 because now they're running around trying to figure out how this new thing is connected to the main secret. And I think secrets are an excellent way for players to play out their character in, I don't know how to describe it.
It is very additive to the player's
Yes.
journey. So, right, when you think about the hero's journey, right, many heroes have flaws, right? They have problems, they have issues, and that makes the characters more interesting, right? It's wonderful to do that with characters in the game. Right? In fact, my players don't know this, but 2 or 3 of them are about to be smacked upside the head. We've kind of established in my home game right now, we started a new adventure. Many of you know it's in the Arbenden Forest. They're in the northern area of the Republic of Zyathé, and very, very near it's in the Buunderland, and very, very near the Vile Desolation, the border with the Vile Desolation. And we've kind of got everything sort of established now, and a couple of our marvelous players in that game are about to get smacked upside the head with some things in their backstories, right? I think I mentioned last week or 2 weeks ago one of my players, Jens, is playing a marvelous Inzandra Oz. Well, this group of Inzandra Oz literally just showed up in the inn, and this is very unusual. I mean, extraordinarily unusual anywhere, not just in the Republic, but anywhere, to have 5 or 6 Inzandra Oz just suddenly show up as an adventuring party. And so it's the dynamic I think is going to get very, very interesting. So we'll see what happens, but it's fun.
So the secrets though, for as a player, and I always come at this as a player, I've only GM'd a couple times, and they were all short.
Yeah.
As a player, it's if you actually invest in that secret, as a player, it's something that really helps mold some of your character interactions, and then at some point maybe the secret gets revealed, but I don't know, I find it just very helpful with role playing, and I think it's a great idea for every player, every pre-generated character in Gooey Cube gets a secret already on their character sheet, and then if you're adding more of that, and then how it plays into the ultimate storyline, well, it can be a lot of fun.
Yes, and as we noted, Cameramendi, we noted to the people who get the Red Star Rising that those secrets that are on those character sheets are really for theirs to develop on their own, right? Yeah. We have some major player secrets that are in the actual campaign, that are part of the campaign, because that's another thing that happens a lot, is you buy a module, right? You buy an adventure, and it's sort of just go in, it might have some intrigue. I don't want to throw shade. I never do that, because there's some wonderful just single run modules out there, and it might have some interesting dynamics and that kind of stuff. But if you're going to run a campaign, you really want to have the players, the individual characters, to sort of be woven into the tapestry of the campaign, because that makes it so much more fun for the players to enjoy, right? And those secrets can have problems associated with them. They can create issues, right? They can challenge them. They can be mysterious and have them questioning, and then things start showing up that impact those secrets. And this really deepens the adventure, rather than just going sort of and running around and fighting things and accumulating gold and getting levels, right? And so this is what part of our mission as Gooey Cube is, to truly help game masters be better game masters by equipping them with tools, right? And equipping them with ideas and thoughts that perhaps that they haven't really thought through before, because there's not really a GM university out there that really exists, and most people's inclination to go sit around and watch 47 videos all the time on all kinds of things, we all have busy lives. So hopefully within the scope of our adventures, we can provide some of these things so that actually when people are running them, it gives them that.
Okay, here's from Rick. I'm just
Hi,
gonna,
Rick.
and this is all stuff that we want to hear from you guys. This whole discussion.
Absolutely.
We'll be reading
comments. We're gonna need lots of comments as we go through this.
Okay. Question: how many GMs are taught to help players to craft backstories that can then be woven in the campaign with the secrets? And then Rick says that he's been doing that for every campaign since 14 years. For 14 years, and I do think that's important, is to invest in the front end of character development. So when you do sit down at the table, your players feel ready to invest themselves in the story. And I think that will help with what we are about to talk about. I
may I comment on that a little bit?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Because Rick, you're absolutely right. So especially if you're doing a campaign fully from scratch, right? So now I will tell you, I pre-prep, right? I have... even in my home games, right, I'm not free-flowing, right? I kind of know the general track of the adventure. By the way, I use the word track. I'm not ashamed of that at all. I'm very much, as you all know, sort of in the middle between sort of the real railroady stuff and the real sandboxy do-whatever-you-want stuff, because I honestly believe living in that place does make for the best games. I really believe that in my heart of hearts. I've been a part of both of these more extreme measures, and there are flaws with both of them, in my opinion. Again, no shade. If this is where you live, or this is where you live and you love it, wonderful. That's great. But I do think if you're a game master and you're striving to be the best you can be, I think living in this place makes for a far better experience for your players. Anyway, so in this campaign that we're doing at my house, we just literally, everyone gave backstories. So I have backstories. They're actually published, except for if they didn't want something known by the other players, we didn't publish that. But we keep a Google sheet where all of the backstories and things are published, and then typically Mike or Jens take notes and keep those for the campaign so that people can go back and review the notes and all that stuff. Very helpful as a game master, by the way, to have game notes. If you don't have someone who keeps notes for you, you should ask if anyone has the inclination to do so, because it is very, very helpful. So in the aspect of backstory, right? And I really want you to understand that even if you bought the Red Star Rising, rolled up entirely new characters, we do push the characters. We said before, we would like you to be a member of the Hanataz troop, just because of the wonderful tale that is told within there, right? But you don't even have to be that. But you could certainly craft characters within the scope of the Red Star Rising, having them be members of the Hanataz troop and have the backstory fully created by them of how they ended up being a part of the Hanataz. So you don't have to feel like you're limited by the pre-generated characters in the Red Star Rising at all, right? But I completely agree with you, Rick, every time.
I have a lot of really good comments.
Yes, read some.
Okay. So this one was from Andy. Hold on, I lost it. Okay, integrate the characters, but based on my experience, don't make any particular character critical to the game. When the player leaves the game, things can fall apart. I will say that I find kind of a balance. Like one game we have where the characters are a bit more critical to the plot line, and one we have where we're not at all. So if we can't make the critical one, we play the one where we don't need all the characters at the table to run the storyline. So,
this Andy is right. This is a problem, right? If you have a character who is that character is really, really important to the plot line, and all of a sudden that person decides they don't want to play anymore, they move or whatever, that does create issues. But I still do it, just so everyone knows. I still sort of christen various characters with various critical aspects of the plot line. Now, I do believe that the group we're playing with is a long-standing group. No one has plans to move or leave or anything like that, and that has to go into sort of your thought processes as well. I do think when you're running, again, you have as you're thinking about a campaign, how long do you plan this to run? I mean, I'm hoping this group is my main group for many years now. This is a wonderful group of very experienced players. I'm loving them. And not only that, because Corey is game mastering sometimes, I am actually getting to play. Yeah. And I have not got to play for a long time. So I would say that Andy is absolutely right, that you need to measure that, because it could really derail your entire wonderful campaign if you do that. Or I have an alternative, because I've done this before. Know ahead of time, if that person does leave, what your plan is to sort of move that, right? Perhaps keep them around as an NPC, but move sort of the emphasis to another player, right? So there's ways you can do that to manage to that a little bit. But Andy's right. If you're playing more of a casual game and you think people are going to leave and you're going to have a bunch of sessions that are going to be ruined because this person leaves, then you need to be a little more careful with that.
Yeah, I think the summation is depending on the group. Mm-hmm. But I do also like your point too of like having a timeline. I do think that there tends to be creep in D&D games where it's like, okay, this is a 4-shot. Well, now it's a 10-shot. Yes. And that does create commitment problems. And so if you do decide ahead of time on like a specific amount of time, it's really helpful.
Yes, I completely agree. And don't be forgetting to switch back and forth to show your face when you're talking.
I'm just reading comments.
Because I'm sitting here with poor Bluey and we're like...
Okay.
All right.
Next one was really good. I think it was from Pee Wee Woo. Unfortunately, the past few D&D groups I've been in, character background isn't helpful. It just turned into something the DM to use to stab you in the face. And I have seen that before as well, and that's not cool.
So I'm going to tell you something.
Yes.
I want you to listen to me.
That's bad game mastering.
This is the truth. And I want you to hear me on this. Do not play with a person who is abusive. Do not play with that person. Don't care if they're your best friend in the world. Don't play. You can give them a chance if they're your best friend in the world. Say, hey, you're mean. You're not a fun game master. You're a mean game master. And I'm not having a good time. And you can give them a chance like that, but don't play with an abusive game master. In fact, I would tell you right now, be the game master. Decide today, I'm going to be the game master. I can do it because you can. Almost everyone I have ever known, even some of the most introverted people, in fact, some of the better game masters I've known are introverts because they actually don't want to steal the show, right? They want to give the show to their players. So don't be afraid. Don't think you can't do it. Don't think you can't do a few voices. Don't think, and we provide tools with our stuff to actually aid all of that. This is why we do it. We want to make more game masters. We want to help game masters who are sort of trying to grow in their journey to be great. So do not play with an abusive game master. Do not play with an abusive player.
Pee Wee wanted to clarify, he was a good DM. He just always thought drama all the time was a good thing. But I mean...
Fair.
Yes.
Then let me tell you this. Have a dialogue. I definitely am open anytime to criticism of anything that I'm doing that might be problematic. Okay? And so you should go to your friend and say, sometimes, we don't always lose, we want to win, right? See, that's part of the problem. The hero's journey is fraught with all manner of setbacks and problems. We're watching The Witcher right now. We're almost done with season 3, and Geralt just got his butt kicked, right? He's been kind of kicking butt.
Hey, spoilers.
I just said he got his butt kicked.
Yeah, okay. Keep going.
I mean, I didn't go into any kind of who or what or when or where or any of that stuff.
Fair enough.
All right.
Okay.
So the hero's journey is filled with problems. And actually, Tamara Mendy and I had a wonderful conversation this morning about before the show about something she's going to bring up. And we're going to talk about this, about storyline and some of these kinds of things and what if it runs against you. But part of this thing that is makes the game special is the fact that you do suffer setbacks, but ultimately achievement is what you hope for. And every once in a while, there's tragedy and trauma and difficulty. But I think if it's all the time, that becomes sort of not fun. Is that fair, Cameron Mandy? Is that fair?
Okay, so let's actually launch into what.
So talk to your game masters.
Yes.
If you're in that place, because we're literally going to talk about this right now.
Right.
Can't wait to see what the chat has to say. Were there other comments?
There's other comments, but I'm going to read the thing and then
I
I'll
also
read
want you
more.
to interrupt me. If you got a good comment, go ahead and interrupt me. It's totally fine, because that's better for the dialogue. Okay? It's better for the dialogue.
So here, the discussion of today is how to
Put yourself up, Cameron Mandy.
Okay.
There.
The discussion of today.
You're much cuter than I.
Oh, my
so this is
goodness.
magnificent. We have to have eye candy.
Thanks.
That's not me.
Thanks. Okay. I think you're beautiful just as you are. So.
I love you.
I thought this morning, you're a good-looking dude. I had a crush on you when I was a little kid.
I know, but that was when I was good looking.
No, you're still good looking.
Well,
You're still
thank
good
you. You are
looking.
dear.
But
You
I
are
don't have a
very
crush
dear.
on you now because
Yeah, I
that would
understand.
be weird.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, of course.
How to handle storylines players aren't interested in. So
say it again.
How
This is the
to-
topic we want to have
yes.
with the chat.
So how to handle storylines players aren't interested in. And on the flip side, as a player, how do you support game masters when you're not interested in their storyline, given the fact that they do invest a lot of time and energy and work into game mastering? And at what point do you just decide maybe this isn't the right fit for me? So that is the topic. So some like examples are, and I think this tends to happen more with like long-standing campaigns. You're coming up with new material. You've maybe gone into a dungeon crawl that you're not interested in. You've maybe, you're following some plot thread that you're just not about. I don't know. So, but the game master's really invested in this whole plot point and it's just not interesting to you.
Well, this is the problem,
Yes.
right? This is the railroady side, right? So now we're on the railroady side, and where sort of everything is fully predetermined. Now, I will tell you, I do predetermine some things. The Red Star Rising has a couple of very significant predeterminations within the scope of the tale, but I think it's natural, right? First and foremost, if you are making a campaign that is sort of centered around the player characters, this is really important. The tale needs to be about the player characters. And that is what helps keep it interesting always for the player characters, right? It needs to have a wonderful mix of mystery and intrigue and drama and nemesis, right? Not just combat, right? It has to have a wonderful opportunities for people to begin to expand upon their character, to grow their character through the course of the adventures and the tales that you're telling, right? All of this helps keep your players from not being from being not interested. And so when you sort of build your foundation around that philosophy, typically you don't tend to lose players to sort of, oh, this is kind of boring for me. Now, on the other side of the coin, sometimes it's not about your player. It's not about you, your character, right? And I always encourage, and again, I'm so fortunate to have this wonderful experienced group of players around the table, that they celebrate when another player has sort of got the limelight, right? And even add to it, rather than sort of just sort of sit back and get on their phones and not be a part of it and all of that kind of stuff. So there's two sides to this thing, right? Helping to elevate other players' characters and adding to their stories, which can be wonderful, by the way. And then on the other side, as a game master, making sure that the game, the adventure that you're telling, the tales that you're telling, are around your characters to keep them interested. Does that help?
I have great
Read some comments.
Okay. Both Jen and Carrie suggested having 3 plot lines and letting the players go towards the one that most interests them. So that can be rough when you are telling like a railroad type of story, but that would help, I think.
Well, here's the thing that I want you to understand. Again,
Yeah.
I'm not over here because I think that I've seen it just often gets boring. It just does. Because, and the fact of the matter is the Angry GM wrote this wonderful, wonderful diatribe, like you read lots of diatribes a while back, that talked about, if we're really about sandboxiness and letting players just do whatever the heck they want, how come we always end up in dungeons, which are the number one railroad? A dungeon is a 100% railroad, okay? It is. I mean, it just is, right? So to sit there and go, oh, I'm like this wonderful incredible elitist dungeon master who, if you don't do the sandbox, you're not good. I really don't like that. It bothers me, and it's out there. It's not good. You railroady people, you kind of suck, right? That's not fair. It's not right. So don't do that. Here's the thing. The meta plot, the tale that you want to tell with the big bad evil ones, right? The big things that you have planned, because you are telling a tale, and it is no shame in you telling a tale with your players. You just want to tell it to them, okay? The meta plots are magnificent, and within that, what Jen and Carrie both just said is magnificent, because there are many paths that you can take to allow them to get to the meta plot. This is why I don't preset things in adventures. I bring them, I put them in front of players. They don't have to be on the map. I don't have to put them on the map ahead of time. They can be on the map later, right? This is all the flexibility that you have to bring as a game master. And so within that, you do give players choices of places that they can go and things that they can do. And within the scope of those choices, things happen and things change. But you don't have to not have a meta plot that is going on. And a tale that you're telling is part of that, especially if it's good. Because honestly, good players follow those breadcrumbs because they want to know your tale. They want to see where it goes. They're interested in that, right? And frankly, those few players that just want to disrupt is kind of like a bad game master. Don't play with them. It's not right. All right.
So
I hope that helps.
This was a really good point from Michelle. And I will elaborate on this as a player. I think that campaigns need an ending at waypoints where a story completes and a new story or level of story begins. If it's just a random exploration without story or path, then meh, you've lost my interest. Now, I will say this as a player, and I actually just had this discussion with my game masters, all three of them, because I'm like, guys, I have been playing for 5 years now, and I have finished one campaign. And that is frustrating when you're playing over the course of several years and you haven't really hit, it also gets confusing. And it's like, okay, how do I keep track of this trail that was over here from 3 years ago that's now going to get tied in 2024, but it's only been 3 days in
game time.
So that kind of stuff can
Notes. Keep game notes and review them before every game.
Yeah, it's just a lot of work when you're trying to start a Gooey Cube company and have all our social media go off, and there's only so much time, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, so I do agree 100% with Michelle that it's nice to have like a self-contained section, and I think this is actually a really good suggestion for players as well. I say if you're not interested in a storyline, as long as it's not excessively long, as long as it's only the course of 3 or 4 sessions, swallow it and put up with it. Because the game master is working really hard. They're working way harder than you are most of the time.
It's true.
And they deserve to tell stories that they're interested in. Now, if it gets longer than like 4 or 5 sessions or whatever your threshold is for that, then at that point, I think have a conversation with the GM and be like, look, like this is just not it for me. And so...
Well, that's even what we're going to do, with the slight augmentations we're going to do for chapters 1 through 3. Because the initial campaign, the chapters 1 through 3 of the Red Star Rising campaign, really is a wonderful jumping off point. If you wanted to, sort of explore, because maybe you're not as strong of a game master and you want to explore something that really gives you a magnificent tale, but then sort of take it off on your own, the end of chapter 3 is a perfect jumping off point for that. Then we can also have chapters 4 and 5 sort of be a standalone as well, so you could bridge to it or you could go a different direction. And then chapters 6 and 7, and it is going to be in one box, Cameramendi, I decided. It's going to be one package. We're going to do chapters 6 and 7 that will be together in one mega box, and that will end the Red Star Rising campaign. Unless people really clamor for more. Then we'll see what happens.
Okay, so...
But yes, that's great advice. Give a little grace, especially to other players. Encourage their player character development and lift them up as well. That really makes the table good. I can't tell you how much I love when one player at my table starts adding to the story a little bit in the right fashion, right? Not taking over, but adding to the story for another character. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think it really just depends on the table. Some people are going to really love a sandbox exploration, and some people, I have actively said to all of the GMs, railroad the hell out of me, because like I don't want to I have to make so many decisions on my everyday life that adding more decision making during my game time, like I want to make small decisions, not massive decisions. But that's Mandy. That's not every player out there in the universe. And I know that there are some people who really just love exploring a world and finding what a world has to offer.
But again, that's sort
Yeah.
of just being an explorer versus having a meta plot that's going over the top that really impacts each of the players' stories and all of that kind of thing that's going on. I do think that's what makes the adventures more interesting. And that's why I live here.
Yeah.
That's why I live
But
there.
so Corey says, as a GM, your NPCs are there for the players. No NPC should be invulnerable or should be able to ignore the actions of the players. Sometimes that might be
Except
best.
for the ones in our game, Corey, because they're going to kick your ass.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, let's not forget that your players are in the chat. Okay.
No, he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. Play it as close to sort of fantastically real as you can, right? And you know what? If you think that this BBEG is going to appear here, right? Is going to appear here, and they are able to destroy that BPEG fairly and within the scope of the game, you might have to retool a little bit. That's okay. That's not a problem. There's other ways to retool. I mean, even the Star Wars, right? You know, two of the major big bads disappeared, and all of a sudden there was another big bad I'd never heard about before. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't a great transition. But anyway.
Here's a comment that's not relevant to the conversation, but I agree with. Camera Manny needs a raise, Alphinius. Thanks. I don't know where the hell that came out of, but I appreciate it.
She does.
No, I'm just
We
kidding.
got to get this damn Gooey Cube making a little money.
Oh,
We're
I know,
working on
that's
that.
for real. Okay. Let's see here. I'm trying to read through all these. There's a lot of really great points. This actually
Well, just read a few.
Yeah. This one's funny from Paul. Halfway through an adventure, and the world ends in a fiery conflagration. What happened? You guys didn't stop the ritual. What ritual? The ritual the barmaid tried to warn you about. The barmaid we stabbed? That's the one. So,
That's
okay.
great.
The movie mechanic of flashback, like they do in Blades in the Dark, is a great tool, too, to help make boring scenes more interesting and give them outs. But there are consequences that fatigue and stress the costs.
I completely agree.
Yeah. You know, I'm also going to just say, I don't feel that every scene needs to be role played.
No.
And I think that's one thing that people get caught up in with the Dungeons and Dragons is that they let, the role-playing aspect of it, yeah, I don't want to be spoken to or read to too much, but it's also okay to kind of summarize, and then this happened on this day, and then we're going to move to a more interesting part of the plot. You know, hey, make a note of this.
Especially with travel.
Yes.
And now I love travel. You know this, Camera Mandy, and I will have travel actually be a part of it. But I am definitely not opposed to having a, speed up moment when, because for 3 days, there wasn't really anything that happened, which is normal, right? That's real life, right? You could be driving across country and one day you'll have a flat tire, but the rest of the time, it's kind of mundane, kind of looking at the, windy Kansas wheat fields, as John Denver said.
This is a good point from Scottish Jeff, which is countering my point about railroading. Railroading keeps the party on track, but too much would make me think I was in a story that's already written instead
That's
of the
right.
players writing the story as they travel along.
That is
So
why.
there's the balance.
Right, that's the balance, right? Because the BBEG exists, right? See, this is the other side where people don't talk about this versus just players should go do what they want. Absolutely. You have as much freedom at my table to do whatever you want, and I will respond to that as best as possible. But I know that over here, there is a host of characters who have their own agendas. They have their own ideas. They have their own thoughts. And I have lower level folks like that. This is wonderful bar that we are in called the Buried Boggin, right? There is a group of characters in there that have their own agendas, their own thoughts. There's another group over here. There's another group over here, and they are all doing things. And all of those things are based on what the characters do. Okay? So this idea that the characters just get to dictate the story is not fair, and it's not true, and it's not realistic. Because based on what they do, things happen over here. All right? And that is part of what telling the tale is, as the game master is managing that aspect and all of that that's going on over there. And that's why I like being in the middle, because you're going to end up in a dungeon, and there are certain things in that dungeon, and those things are what they are. But if you have gotten chapter 5, you know that even the dungeon that is in chapter 5 is a little sandboxy, even though it's a dungeon. And I love the aspects of that. And that's why I live here, because that point is absolutely well taken. If you railroad them too much, then they're getting just read to. You might as well read them a book, right? If you let them go off and just go crazy, it's a pain in your butt. You're making up things all the time. Things kind of get out of control. That's what I believe, right? And they kind of can get goofy. Unless you're really, really good in spending a lot of time prepping over here, pre-prepping and re-prepping and all of that stuff. So this is why here is better. It doesn't take you as much time. It gives the players a wonderful experience, the opportunity to go different places and do different things that maybe you weren't even prepared for, that actually adds to your fun, right? But it doesn't put you in this place where really this can be very difficult. So it was a great point.
I want to wrap up the conversation here in a second, but hashtag give.
Hashtag give.
If you have not already put it in there, I'm gonna take still the entries
Now,
from
Andy
earlier.
can't win this one, right?
No.
Andy can't win twice.
Yeah. So hashtag give if you have not already put in hashtag give. So I guess the concluding idea of this, or the question, so like, let's say you're in the middle of it. First off, how can you tell if your players are bored? I would say if they're not engaging with your campaign, if they're not actively role-playing, and if they're just kind of sitting there twiddling their thumbs, they might not be enjoying it, even if they're too nice to tell you.
Something.
Yeah. But what do you do in that circumstance? If you really want to tell the story, how do you push it forward to a conclusion that is satisfying? I guess would be like the question is like, what do you do with it at that point? How do you make it interesting? How do you reinvigorate it?
Again, this goes to techniques, right? So to gin a table, oftentimes people use combats, right? Wandering encounters, right? That kind of a thing. They gin up a table. But I have found that mysteries and intrigues and little discoveries and all of these things keep the table ginned. Because you basically, if you think about it, you've got the meta story, right? You've got the sort of strategy level of what's going on within the meta story. You have the very tactical sort of thing that's going on, right? And then you have like just the sort of immediate thing that's happening. And little discoveries, and I have all kinds of things in my hip pocket all the time to add to the tale that I don't necessarily have to break out at all. They're additive to the tale, but they are not necessary to the tale. And so a little discovery, a creature, an interaction, all of that stuff helps gin the table at moments of lack of interest, right? It helps. And then again, the wonderful thing about having good players, right, is that they also try to help in those kinds of circumstances, right? They don't just sit there. I do kind of ask folks not to be on their phones, to be engaged as best as you can, because a distraction really does take away from the game, right? Especially if you're playing a computer game at the same time you're playing the game with us. But the game master does have a responsibility to push it, and we probably need to do. Camera Mandy, we need to do a story, a tale on ginning the table, because there are many, many techniques and methodologies you can use to gin the table that really, really add and are not onerous upon you as a game master. This was great.
Yeah.
Got a few more comments? Or are we done?
Congratulations to Dr. Ransom Keys for winning our folios.
2 winners today. Yes, 2 winners today.
Okay.
Now, don't we have another one that's going on that people are adding?
Shoot. Yeah, hashtag Mournwood. Oh, of course. Hashtag Mournwood for the signed Mournwood campaign. We will get that done today, or this week. We will.
Well, because we got to put it up in the den. And I didn't want to do it during the holidays because a lot of people were off and they weren't engaging, and I wanted to give everybody a good chance. Yeah. So we got to put that up in the den in the Discord. But hashtag Mournwood gets you another entry for that. Remember, that's the benefit of being here. If we're giving away something kind of big like that, you get multiple entries if you're on the stream and hanging out with us and doing that. And that probably is actually going to be in the Discord as well.
Okay, I have a few more great comments.
All right, let's do it.
Be aware that some players actually have fun being more of an observer. It is best to query their level of investment and fun. Just because they are quiet doesn't mean they aren't fully enjoying themselves or the story. I have had a few players like that. And that is a very good point, too, to say that some people just enjoy being there. And like Adam is 100% this person. He does not enjoy being the hero. He enjoys being a side character that comes in every once in a while, blows crap up, and then he likes taking notes. So
there is a great,
Yeah.
it's been written about in a number of places. But the Angry GM was the one who actually exposed it to me, but he was not the one who wrote it first. I think it was written by someone else. But there's actually like 7 or 9 different player types, right? And one of those player types is literally a person who doesn't really care what you're playing. They like it. They like whatever you're playing because the reason they're really there is they just want to be there with their friends.
Yep.
That's all that matters for them. That's their entirety of motivation. So if you were playing poker, they would be just as happy. If you were hanging out watching a movie, they would be just as happy. And that player type may not engage at the same level as other players, but that doesn't mean they're not having a good time. But also, that doesn't mean you can't give them a secret and something they need to be thinking about that make it very interesting for them.
Well, and that also kind of plays into Aztec Narn's comment here that some of his players have ADHD, so they have to be doing something in the background in order to engage with the story. So again, these are not, some of these advice is not for every table. It's obviously
no
situational.
Advice is for every table.
Exactly.
Right? This is
are
why
just
I say it all
ideas.
right. This is why I
Yes.
say it all the time. If you're out there and you're a good sandboxy game master and you're out there making a great game for your players and your players love it, there is no shade. There is no shade whatsoever. Just don't make other people feel badly. If you're over here and your players love being, really pushed, right? Like Mandy said, she doesn't mind a little more railroadiness. That's okay, right? That is a wonderful thing, right? I prefer to be here. My tables, I think, prefers to be here, and I think most game masters tend to live here for the most part.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good place to be. So it's the fun that's being had. That's the joy of it. It's the fun that's being had, and I love that.
Yeah. From Scottish Jeff, I've been in games that were enjoyable to me, whether it was play style, DM style, or whatnot. I've nicely stepped aside out of game and told the DM why I was leaving, and he gives an example of one of the reasons he would have left. And I do think that at some point it is okay to graciously bow out and just say, hey, it's nothing personal, this just wasn't for me. And that doesn't mean that it's not for someone else, and that's kind of
and
a
if you're
big point.
really good at that, really good about being that, you actually plan your exit with the game master.
Yes.
Right, and so then it becomes part of the tale, right? So there's, I completely agree with that. It's absolutely the way it should be.
Yeah. Jen says, if a player hates the story and says something, make them an NPC and give them more active roles or more passive roles.
Yes.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
There's plenty of room to adjust as a game master if somebody feels like they're not sort of they're kind of getting the short end of the stick, so to speak. There's plenty. You have all kinds of tools at your disposal to add to the enjoyment for a player who maybe isn't having as much fun. And you have to understand that, right? And as a player, you got to not be afraid to speak up.
Yeah. This is a great comment from Chelsea. I enjoy being the observer archetype. I really wish they had left. Sorry, guys, I'm starting to lose my voice because I was sick this week. So.
Oh, yeah, cameraman had a bad flu.
Cold. Okay, I enjoy being the observer archetype. I really wish they had left it in the handbook for 5e because I didn't realize it was normal to be supportive in this way. I assumed I was doing something wrong, especially since my party wanted more from me. If I knew it was possible to be a supportive observer, I might have approached things differently instead of being down on myself.
Yes.
And I do think that's something that we don't really talk about. I mean, like we just don't, it is totally fine for someone to just enjoy being there.
It's absolutely right.
And in some ways, it's great to have someone who just wants to be the support so you can be an action hero.
Right. Yeah. Because Batman needed Robin, even though they
Exactly.
tried to say he didn't.
Guys, I'm really hoping that y'all, we're 20 minutes past and we still have like 50 people on the stream. So
This is good, y'all.
Yeah.
Was this fun? Because we're going to do more of this. We're actually going to have more guests on. We're going to do more interactions. We want to hear more from the community as part of it. There's other things we have planned as we move into the first quarter that I think are going to be really fun. But we want to do more engagement in terms of asking these kinds of questions and throwing out these kinds of things. Is this helpful? Is this nice? Would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, give us because all the comments here have just been so. I haven't wanted to stop talking about it since all the comments have been so amazing. But we do have to go because I'm losing my voice and it's like 20 after.
And plus we need to let people go because it's Saturday and go enjoy your day and do all that stuff that you do. But we'd love your feedback too, not just here. You can throw it a message to Camera Mandy and me on Facebook or Discord, and we can. And again, we are soliciting comments right now of other things you'd like to see on Goo Morning Zyathé, and we would love to hear more from you about that. My friends, thank you for spending Saturdays with us. It is magnificent. It is such a lot of fun. Camera Mandy and I get up every morning, and this thing does put a smile on my face even after, 2 years now, Camera Mandy, yes?
Yeah, it's been 2 years. 2 years.
Wow.
So,
yes.
Awesome.
In 2024, we're looking forward to a wonderful year. Can't wait to see many of you at Genghis Khan. We're planning Gen Con right now. Don't let me forget, I got to send Megan an email. We got all kinds of cool things happening. Of course, Guys and Gags might be the coolest thing ever, and we're going to need your help with that as much as you can. So, my friends, have a wonderful rest of your day, a wonderful weekend. The sun is shining here, even though there's snow on the ground here in Colorado. We hope wherever you are, there's sunshine and brightness. And even if you're in the midst of a little bit of difficulty, know that the sun will rise. It just takes time. Much love, my friends. Much love from all of us to you. May all your adventures be sticky. Ha ha!